Welcome to the Wellness as a Way of Life podcast, your one-stop, all-encompassing source of wellness, knowledge, wisdom, inspiration, and motivation. Here we teach you why not all wellness trends are for you, how to figure out which ones are, how to best adapt them for your personal wellness toolbox, and how ultimately to integrate your wellness practices so fully that they become to feel like brushing your teeth. A foundational part of who you are and not a check mark on your to-do list. Here we know that in order for health and wellness to be sustainable, we need a less is more approach, leaving the information overload and tips overwhelm behind. I'm your host, Megan Swan, creator of the Wellness as a Way of Life course and the Sustainable Integrated Wellness Approach. I have more than a decade of experience in the wellness industry and on my own personal wellness journey, learning how to tune into and trust my intuition and drown out all the noise. As a certified IIN health coach, detoxification expert, plant-based chef, yoga teacher, and coach, I will help you distill down the information overload and feel more confident and at ease in your own skin again. So let's swan dive in. Today on the podcast, I am so excited to talk about the power of retreats, to rediscover yourself, connect with your purpose, feel in community, and hit the pause button to completely reset your system. I'm so lucky I had two opportunities this year to go on retreats. Usually it's an annual thing. Even if I just go to somewhere by myself for a 24-hour period, I do make a conscious effort to take a day as a mom and get away. But today we're going to get to know Jackie Szabo. She's my special guest. She's the creator of the Wanderer community, or wanderhomenow.com. Her leadership and expertise are well founded in Toronto's yoga and wellness community. She has been the leader of 50 plus local and international retreats, and she's the owner of a cranial-sacral practice and other entrepreneurial efforts. Jackie is a powerhouse of knowledge and a gifted educator. Her obsession with connection and digging deep to find the root of the problem led her to study human relations at Concordia University. Her curiosity, along with her passion for understanding human nature, brought her on some amazing journeys. An honest and direct communicator, Jackie is also an empath. She tends to feel her way through life and surrounds herself with people who are honest and real. As a yoga teacher of close to 15 years and a well-renowned retreat leader and the founder and the creative force behind some amazing wellness brands, she feels her best when creating new ways for people to explore and connect in. I can fully attest to her zone of genius in that regard, and I'm so looking forward to getting to know her process a little bit more and have her give you more insight into the power of of pressing the pause button to reset your system and really give you potentially new perspective on the little and the big things in your life and just how impactful and special that can be. Let's dive in. Welcome, Jackie. I'm so excited for this conversation. You are a true inspiration for me, a friend and an expert in so many spheres, but I'm really excited to tell everyone and share your wisdom in the beauty of taking ourselves out of our routine and doing a retreat every once in a while. So first off, how are you, Jackie? Tell us about your day and maybe like what you had for breakfast or what's good in your world.
What I had for breakfast. Feels like so long ago now. First of all, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to do this with you and chat with you. My day so far has been pretty standard, pretty busy. for a Monday morning. It's usually a little bit of catch up, emails, retreat planning, coordinating excursions for the 2 retreats I have coming up, and I guess just more of like a catch up. I usually reserve Mondays for that specifically. So I don't usually book a lot on Monday mornings, so I can prepare myself for the week and prepare my tasks. And what I had for breakfast, I had gluten-free pancakes with my son.
Yummy and beautiful. I love how you structure your week. I do a similar thing. And yeah, I'm so excited to hear about the specifics of where you're going next, and try not to sign up right away. But first, let's go back a little bit. Can you tell us, why for you it's important to run retreats, and sort of what you see it, or how it is that someone could integrate into their lives as sort of like a tune up or tune in, or how would you even describe it?
Okay. Well, I started running retreats almost 13 years ago. And the initial idea was to create a container for people to land and explore themselves in. I had done a training at someone's house in Connecticut, and we all piled into the house. Like, I think I was sleeping on the floor. And there was a sauna. I remember the sauna. It was on the water. And we were doing this teacher training that we were just in it with each other. And we were strangers. And it was such a powerful experience for me to be seen in that way, to have that experience inside that home, in that container, that energetic container, that I wanted to create something like that. I didn't know what I was doing. I paid a lot of money for a house in Costa Rica. I asked a couple friends to, like, one person to cook. I brought a naturopath, and I brought someone else to teach restorative. Crossed my fingers that people would sign up. I was like sweating. So I was so nervous. I had no money at the time. And I made my own poster. And within 3 days, it was sold out. It was sold out. I put the posters up at the studio I taught at, and it was completely sold out. And it was just such a beautiful, amazing experience to, like, move through that amount of fear. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea if it was going to work, but something in me just pulled me forward, and I took that chance, and people really resonated with it.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as what happens, I think I haven't experienced anything like it in any other way. When you have a group of people come together, most of which are strangers, there's something beautiful that happens. There's an opportunity to, like, share in a different way. You get to be, in a way, brand new. You don't have the regular dynamics of your life, like the way you talk to your husband, the way you are at work, the way you are with your kids. You get a break from all of that, and you can land within yourself and create this beautiful community. And as much as, like, most people resist community, I really believe we all thrive in it. And that human connection, without the masks, without the additional story, or without the additional background, there's something beautiful that happens. And even if some people aren't fully invested in, like, the deep work at the time, they still will get those little seeds planted. And sometimes I hear from people 5 years later that, wow, like, that seed was planted and look what happened.
Yes. I think there's a parallel there to coaching in general, right? Like, you kind of need to meet people where they're at, and then also trust that what you're doing is enough and what is needed. And it's just maybe not going to resonate the same with every person at every point in their lives, but it's not to say that it's not going to land.
Yeah, exactly.
Later.
Even on the retreat in Mexico that you were on, I remember one guy on the retreat said, his answer was, like, the question was, what are your limiting beliefs? And his answer was, I'm not worthy of love. I don't deserve love. And it's like,
so huge.
Yeah, that's huge. So even if your answer would have been like, I'm afraid of failure, right?
Right.
You're going to be affected by his answer, and you are going to take that in, and you're going to hold it in your heart, and that moment will change you, regardless if you're fully on board with like diving into sharing everything. So it is a choose your own adventure, but something collectively is happening, and we are all affected by each other.
Yeah. Can we talk a little bit more about the beauty of it being strangers? Because, I know that you are heavily involved in the yoga community in Toronto, and, sometimes you have people that may have like cross paths. Yeah. And also knowing that you have at least one individual that's been to like almost every single one of your retreats. Yeah. So there's going to be some overlap, but in general, you're creating this safe space where I feel like, to your point, we maybe theoretically think we want to be in a community, but most of us don't have the opportunity to be in a community with that much depth, and you're only there for a certain amount of time. And so I also think that people are sort of on board with like, you kind of got to get into it. Like you only have a few days, and therefore this isn't about, putting on a mask or, pretending that you're there for something that you're not. It's just like, be real and get into it right now. And I think seeing yourself, like you were describing, in a stranger, it's just like, so, it goes straight to your soul and connects with our greater humanity. It just makes you realize like how much you can identify with a complete stranger's honest and authentic showing up.
Yeah, and hold space for each other. It's so beautiful. And yeah, most people in the group are strangers. A lot of them have never met before, but even for those who have seen each other on a couple of retreats, they know what they're stepping into, and they know what it is. And most of the people, some have become really good friends. Like a lot of people stayed connected after retreats. I've been doing this for 13 years. I think like some people do it every year. Some people that's their commitment, that they come to one every as their self-care. So that, yeah, there's for sure some overlap. People know each other, but most of the time they don't know each other in their regular lives. And whenever you hit pause on your regular life and you get off the hamster wheel of life, and we're all so busy, and we take that time to pause, there is just a natural settling into a self that oftentimes get forgotten in the busyness of the day, in the busyness of life. So that process is still unfolding, and there's an opportunity. Yeah. And if they've gone on another retreat and it's their second one, they kind of know the drill, so they can drop into it as well.
Yeah. Well, there's two threads I want to pull on there. One, that there's some individuals that look at it sort of as their annual self-care upkeep. So let's dive in there a little bit. How do you see it as, a wellness tool that you can use on an annual basis? What would be the viewpoint for someone who wants to kind of use it as their self-care? And do you realistically think that, that can't be the only thing they're doing for themselves all year, but it proves as like a very powerful reset?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's a reset. It's not the only thing that they're doing. If I look at the people who come every single year, or the people who have done 5 or more retreats, they do have other practices. They practice yoga, breathing, meditation. They for sure have their own tools and their own set of tools that on a daily are so important. And oftentimes after a retreat, you can really feel the void. And after a couple, you realize that there's other tools that you can put in place for the rest of the year. So equally, I think both are important, to have the upkeep day to day, but also to hit the big pause button is so powerful. And and to, hang out in a hammock for 5 hours a day. You know how healing
Yeah, like
your nervous system?
That's the other thread I wanted to pull on. Like my experience arriving at this, honestly, I was sort of aware of the place that we went to, like it had been on my radar, and I'm familiar with that area. And I just got there and I'm on my own, like as a mother, like to not have to worry about anyone besides myself for like even a 24-hour period, but 7 whole days. That was another, like, so love that your retreats are 7 whole days, because honestly, 4 days and like people, rush to get into basically a long weekend. It's so powerful. And this pause, and it really helped me zero in on, something that I teach to clients about the power, essentially being a superpower moving forward, the ability to do nothing, the ability to just not be on your phone all the time when you're like slightly bored or slightly uncomfortable about something. So, I was just fascinated that it was like an architectural beach house, right? And the reflection of the pool on the upper concrete, and it would just like move throughout the day. And I'm like, when is the last time I had hours to sit here and notice such a thing? It was just mind-blowingly beautiful.
Yeah. And that group was so special. Like we could all be really quiet with each other too. That's not always the case. Like there's sometimes that there's chattier groups, but this group in particular, like we all settled in right away. And sometimes like having everybody around the pool, but it'd still be quiet. I think someone put on music once and it was like, oh, like that was a lot for us.
Like what's going on?
Yeah, but
I can't hear the ocean quite the same way.
I know. Every group is so different. And that's the other thing that's so special is like you can feel these themes emerging in the groups and why people show up at that moment. I've done 50 plus, I think it's like 52 retreats now internationally. So everyone is so different. And it's every person playing their part in the group that creates this like beautiful group energy that is so powerful and so healing. But everyone's so different. But I hold Mexico really special in my heart for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, I mean, I always will too. And personally for me, Puerto Escondido is like, it's where we got married. I used to go with very, longstanding, I was going to say maestra, like, one of my mentor yoga teachers used to do retreats there. And we, as a family, we go there quite often. It's really a special part of Mexico. And yeah, I just feel like you can't even imagine how tightly wound you are.
Yeah. Yes, it is intentional to have lots of space for sure. Like some people want to be more active, some people just want to land. And I think giving people the opportunity. And I will say also that unwind moment or moments in the first 2 days aren't always comfortable. Like we're making it sound like it's enjoyable, but for some people they're so wound up that it's really challenging to come down. There was a woman who would come on retreats with me quite often. She's been on a lot, I guess. But her first one, she made herself physically sick, like hitting the pause button from a corporate life. She got sick. She was really facing herself and really struggled. And by day 3, she went surfing and she came back a new person. I swear, she came back a new person. And it was weighing so heavy on me the first 2 days because I'm like, oh my goodness, like she's really struggling. Is this the right decision for her? It was my very first retreat too. So I didn't have that experience of like that unwind. And sometimes it could be challenging. And so I would sit with her and I would help her try to process it. And then day 3, she's a new person. And she ended up quitting her corporate job and she started a B Corp corporation making ethical clothing because of an idea she had on that retreat.
Yes, I remember this story now. It's brilliant.
Yeah. But she would make herself sick. And then retreat 2 was the same thing. Like she had that physical release was really powerful. So everybody needs different things. And that's why I think Wander Home's retreats and my retreats are slightly different because it's not just a yoga vacation where, we're serving alcohol at meals and we're just like brushing the surface of these ideas. I think when we have that time for ourselves and we come together, let's make it purposeful. Let's dive in. And that's where the whole idea of Wander Home came from. It's like, can you wander back home to yourself and your truth? And if you start to pull those threads on the retreat, so many things happen when you get home. And that process is really, really exciting for me. Like those moments of challenge, those moments of conflict within are really challenging for people to experience. But I get excited. I'm like, oh, there's so much potential in that moment. So when I work with a group, everybody needs different things. Some people need like a little more support. Some people need to be told a truth. Some people, need a hug. Everybody's so different, and having that sensitivity energetically to be able to manage the group, I think really sets us apart, and the people I work with on retreats. I think we do it slightly differently than other people that I've seen.
Yeah, I would totally agree there. So tell us like what's coming up. Maybe not like the most close one, because again, we were talking about when this might be, we wouldn't want someone to get really excited about something that's already happened.
Yeah.
So sort of like what's on the distant horizon for you?
Okay, so in July, there's one in Canada in Prince Edward County. It's three days. It's a shorter one, local. And that one's all about ease and restore. So just take a break and explore the county. Then we have Greece with Grace. She's amazing. She's one of my favorites. Yeah, I agree. I know. I keep texting her that. I'm like, Greece with Grace.
I wish I could come. I can't this year. Do it again next year, please.
Yeah. I think we're going to go to Sicily again. Last year in September. I love Europe in September. It's less busy, but the weather's so perfect. So last year we did Sicily. It was unreal. So I think the following year we'll go back to Sicily. So Greece, we're on an island, and it's on a farm. So there's horses, there's farm to table meals, really amazing chefs that will, and especially when we're going places, like I like to explore the area and get to know the area. So there's lots of time to do that. And then Joshua Tree, there's a shorter one in Joshua Tree. So we'll go to the hot springs, we'll hike the national park. That one's all about shedding. That's another thing. Like every retreat is so different in the theme, and I love that process, the creativity involved.
Remind me what the theme was in Mexico.
Mexico was look to the horizon.
Right.
It was look to the horizon.
I did a lot of that.
Right? Yeah. And we had the horizon for it, but I feel like Mexico totally changed me. Like I was a little bit messed up in some moments, and some of the work that we were doing and I was doing for myself, that it really changed something in me to understand, like, what does look to the horizon actually mean? What does the future actually mean? And if each moment, I guess my takeaway was that each moment is so precious, and not like in my head. It was like my whole body acknowledged that. And I think there was a day that I was just like bawling privately, because I was like, whoa, this is so special. This is so special. It was wild. It wasn't my mind knowing this, because my mind has always known this, but it was like this deep knowing in my entire body that each moment is so precious. And I came home and I looked at my son differently, and I looked at my husband differently. And that was my own lesson in that trip, that understanding, like looking to the future, made me realize maybe it's my age, where I'm at in my life. It just made me realize that each moment is so precious.
Beautiful. Well, so how can people keep tabs on what's coming up in terms of your beautiful retreats?
Yeah.
What's the website?
The website is wanderhomenow.com. So you can find all the information of all the ways we work with people. Like we work with businesses, we work inside like special events, but we also do retreats and online courses, yoga teacher trainings. So all of that is inside Wander Home. And we also have a social media, an Instagram account, which is Wander Home. And yeah, I guess those are the best ways.
Nice. So if someone can't get overseas, do you create events for for a company that wants to bring something deeper to their employees? Yeah.
That really took off in COVID. So we'll work within the company's budget based on how many people they have. And some people just want a yoga class every week, or breath work, or meditation. Other people want a little bit more, so you can choose what you want with the budget that you have, and we create a program.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Jackie. One last question for you. How is wellness a way of life?
I guess it changed in the last couple of years. It used to be what most people think of as wellness, which is, going to a yoga class, eating well, meditation, breath work. And throughout the pandemic, it became something more for me. Wellness is understanding my capacity and living within my capacity, number one. I have a capacity calendar that I work with. So it's not about availability. It's about capacity. It's about boundaries with my time, who has access to me and how they have access to me. And living in a way that I can work with and work in my unique ability. So understanding who I am, understanding what I'm good at, and what energizes me helps me create that capacity calendar in a way that my week has me energized and not drained. And that, like I said, that changed quite a bit in COVID. I started to look at how I was doing things before and how my energy was constantly drained by the people I had around me, my schedule. I was working till midnight some nights, getting up at 5 to work before my son woke up. And it just became no longer sustainable, no longer acceptable. And so my approach to wellness now is really about those boundaries and understanding my capacity and being able to say no and being able to adjust my week accordingly and asking for help and delegating, right? So I think
you gave me goosebumps, the capacity calendar. That is just brilliant. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to sit with that.
I can send you my template. It's amazing. And I schedule time in nature. Like there's a little green square I got to get to nature. I have to.
Oh, yes. Send it to me. That sounds incredible. Yes. I'm so glad I asked.
Yeah. And we do, some of the online courses that we have these tools in it. So you can pop in. I think the capacity calendar is in the balanced course. So you can pop in and just do it online and follow through. But yeah, it's so important. So important. It's back to every moment counts. I don't want to show up for my moments drained, tired, distracted. I want to be here with you fully. And that's it. That's all I'm thinking about. So that takes boundaries, that takes effort. And to me, that is now wellness. Whether I can get to a yoga class or not in my day, I know I am treating myself well.
Yes, I love it. All right, let's leave it there. It's a perfect ending. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to you in so many ways. I look forward to being on another retreat at some point.
Great.
And and collaborating more. So thank you. I hope you have a good one.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
My pleasure. Thanks again for listening to the Wellness as a Way of Life podcast. As you know, we love bringing you valuable content that helps you improve your wellness. This podcast is sponsored by the Wellness as a Way of Life course. The course experience is the ultimate and only wellness course you need to have in your back pocket. If you're looking to feel more confident and at ease in your own skin with consistent energy, this course is the perfect solution for you. And the best part, as a listener of the podcast, you'll get an exclusive discount on the course. Just use the promo code WELL4LIFE at checkout to receive 10% off of your purchase. That's capital W, ELL, the number 4, capital LIFE at checkout. 8 incredible women have taken the Wellness as a Way of Life course and can attest to the massive value it provides. Consisting of 60 plus audio lessons, a dozen videos, the Wellness as a Way of Life workbook, and the Wellness as a Way of Life daily tracker. menus, playlists, readings, and the Megan Swan Wellness Resource Vault. It makes it the most comprehensive, less is more, holistic wellness course on the market. So if you're ready to take your wellness skills to the next level, head over to the website linked here in the show notes and enroll in the Wellness as a Way of Life course today. Hey there, one last thing I wanted to share with you. If you're enjoying this podcast, it would mean so much to me if you could rate and review it on your favorite podcast platform. It really does help us grow the show, and this being so important to me to get this message out to more women to help them optimize their wellness and ultimately their lives. This is my mission, and I would greatly appreciate it if you could support the podcast by rating and reviewing. Thanks in advance. Have a good one.